my first ever viral video. It was like 3 million views. It made me like $7,000. It was like 7K in profit, 3K, 1K, and then boom, 50K.
What would you say to someone like who maybe is doing TikTok shop affiliate right now? They're just not hitting the numbers they feel like they deserve.
Definitely be teachable. You know, the universe doesn't owe you anything. You have to go out there and get it.
Is it still worth it to get into TikTok shop?
There's no better time to start other than right now. Barrier to entry is really, really low.
What would you want to leave the viewers with who are watching this right now? Welcome back to the 7-Figure Affiliate Podcast. Today, I have an absolute killer with me, Hunter Pemberton. Thank you so much for being on here, brother. And I know it's your second time in LA, right?
Second time.
Yeah, man. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself to the podcast and tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
I'm Hunter Pemberton, 21 years old, and I do TikTok shop affiliate full time.
And how did you even, come into the world of TikTok shop affiliate, man? Because I feel like it's so cool that so many creators have like completely different backgrounds.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've always been tapped into like the online money space. You know what I'm saying? Like back when drop shipping through Facebook and something was really popular back in the day. I actually started like my first ever drop shipping store when I was 16. I've always been tapped into like, wholesale and real estate, just kind of like different entrepreneur ways to make money, outside of the regular 9 to 5. And so when TikTok shop affiliate came out, I think it was like 2021, 2022. I can't remember the first year it came out, but I had already had shop access on a TikTok shop account.
Oh, nice.
And so that was kind of when I first started playing with it. I did a lot of faceless content at first.
Yeah.
But that was kind of like the barrier to entry. I'd already had like the account.
Yeah. So you started all the way like as soon as it came out as a thing, right?
Right.
Gotcha. And so when you were first starting, you said you post like faceless content, because I got into it in 2024, so I wasn't even in it. I think it came out like 2022, 2023.
Yeah.
So like what sort of products were you pushing out in the beginning?
Dude, it was horrible. I mean, like,
Was it all just like drop shipping like crap?
Yeah, I mean, it was really like you didn't even have to have the product. It would be like these faceless videos that have an audio background, and then at the end, it would be like a clip of somebody reviewing it, right? You know what I'm kind of talking about? It was like somebody else's video. You just kind of clip it and kind of throw it in at the last couple seconds. But yeah, I mean, that was kind of my first barrier to entry. None of that was successful. I mean, I think I was really afraid to show my face at first. So
Yeah, and I remember like when it first started, people would literally throw up like just an Amazon listing and be like, don't get on Amazon. Like
exactly.
Just get it right here on TikTok shop.
Yeah,
like,
you didn't even have to have the product back then. Violations weren't a thing.
Oh god.
I mean, dude, it was so much more lenient.
Yeah, for
compared
sure.
to what it is now.
And so yeah, you started pretty early with it, which is awesome. And so like, when did you start to see that initial success, man? Because obviously, you are one of the top affiliates in the world. If you want to talk a little bit about like some of your highest months, and yeah, like how did you start seeing that initial success?
Yeah, I want to say my initial like the success that I saw. I want to say like it was really when I started treating it more like a job, right, and more of kind of like a burn the boats type of thing. Actually, I was going to college full time for industrial engineering, and I did that for 3 years. Actually, I didn't finish. And during the time, I was working at O'Reilly Auto Parts. So it was a parts store. That's kind of like a passion of mine. I'm into cars and stuff like that. So I actually got good discounts there. So that's kind of one of the reasons I worked there. And then I was going for industrial engineering. And so I actually had an internship at Campbell Soup.
Oh yeah, I remember you told me that.
Yeah, and so I was working 2 jobs. I was a full-time college student, and I was trying to do TikTok shop on the side, and then I was even doing a little bit of life insurance.
So you had like all different types of things going on.
Right, I was spread pretty thin, right?
Yeah.
And so I want to say like some of my grades suffered from that. I was like a B average student, but I made sure that I passed and stuff like that. But I want to say it was really like I started to see small like success, and so I started to put my effort more into what's going to give me a higher ROI.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. With creating leverage,
Right. So I had good skills, life insurance. I'm not going to talk much about it. It wasn't for me. It didn't really work out.
Yeah.
But TikTok shop, I think it was March of 2024. Out of my first ever viral video. It was like 3 million views. It was with the wireless CarPlay adapter.
Yeah.
And it made me like $7,000. And I was like, holy cow. Like, that's what I get paid on my regular job for the next 6 to 8 months.
That's insane, dude.
I was like, if I did it once, I can do it again, right?
Of course.
I immediately quit my jobs. Immediately, bro. It was crazy. So I was still in college. I quit both my jobs and I went full in on doing TikTok shop and expanding.
What did your parents think at this time? Like, did you tell them, or was it kind of just like a surprise?
So, I mean, they didn't really know what to think. They kind of looked more for consistency. They always knew that like always an entrepreneur and like trying to make money elsewhere. But their opinion was kind of like, that's really cool. Like, how did you do that? People really buy from TikTok. How do you make money from that? And so my perspective was like, I didn't have that much long of school left, I basically made how much money I was going to make within the next 6 to 8 months. So I was like, let me quit my job.
Yeah.
I give it 6 to 8 months. I still have the same amount of money coming in. If I don't see anything by then, I'll go get a job again. That's kind of like what I told them, like as a comforting thing.
Yeah.
And dude, during the next couple months, I like just started doubling down on what was working. I started diagnosing my videos, why it went viral.
Yeah.
Because the first ever viral video, I accidentally kind of made it go viral. I was kind of testing different
I feel like
products.
that happens to everyone.
I was testing different products. I was like, holy crap, this one hit.
Yeah.
So I was like, why did it go viral? Let me figure out why and let me recreate it. And then basically there was the new adapter that came out. And no one had touched this product yet. The company actually sent me their product, so I was one of the first ones to ever post about it. And I hit that angle that I was talking about. What's the difference between the old adapter and the new adapter? And it just took off. It started ripping. And so I just started doubling down on that consistency, and started expanding, the different products that they were starting to come out with. Because you can use that style of content and put it on multiple different products. And so I guess from there, that was like when I first started seeing success. It was early 2024.
If you want to talk a little bit about like your months, like in terms of profit, what you've hit. Now, was your success kind of like, was it like a slow burn? Like it went from 10 to 20K to 30K, or was it like, boom, just 1 month took off like crazy?
When I was doing the faceless content, I want to say it was like $200 months, $300 months. I knew the money was there. I was just
the trenches.
Right. I was trenching. And then the first ever viral video, it was like $7,000 from one video. And so that's when I quit my job. I want to say that the next 2 months after that were pretty slow because I was still in the learning process, but I had faith. I knew I could do it. And then so it was like 7K in profit, 3K, 1K, and then boom, 50K. So I finally hit it.
That's crazy, dude. I know when you have that month that opposite takes off. So for me, it was kind of like, it was a slow burn at first, maybe like, I don't even remember, $1,000. And the next month was like 6 or 7,000. And then literally July was like 165K.
That's crazy.
So for me, I was like, dude, this is like, it doesn't even feel real until it hits your bank account. So when you hit that like 50K month, like what were you thinking? Were you like, dude, we're set for life? I know you probably told your girl, like, we don't have to worry about like retirement anymore. Like, what were you thinking, man?
It was like a sign of like relief, not necessarily that I've made it, but I've bought me time. Like, okay, I'm starting to figure things out, I put a bet on myself and I'm winning that bet, right? Because I quit my jobs and I was like, I know I can make this work. And it was kind of like, it was just that sign of relief, like, I'm actually winning, betting on myself. But yeah, it was pretty much disbelief. But also, like, I want to talk a little bit about like law of detachment too, like detaching from the results, because coming down from those 50K months, like that's hard too. That's like a hard mindset. It's like, I'm up $500 on a day. It's like, but I was at 1K yesterday. It's like mindset's a big thing, especially when you're taking in a lot of money. Making a lot of money is not as easy as like people say.
Absolutely, man. A lot of people also like they get caught up in like these crazy months, and it can be an amazing feeling. But what people don't realize is like, hey, like you should be smart with your money because it's probably not going to last like as long as you think it will. I think it's very important, like as an affiliate, to just remain exactly like you said, detached from the results, from the profit. Just have like an emotional baseline that you try to stay at. So whether you're experiencing the highest highs or the lowest lows, it doesn't matter. You're still gonna put in your inputs for the day. So like for me, even when I was hitting the crazy months, I was still uploading my 10 videos a day, and I could have like relaxed or been like, babe, let's go to Bora Bora, let's go on a vacation. I was like, fuck that. Like, I just want to put in these inputs. And even when I have terrible days or terrible weeks, like I still got to put in these inputs, like post my content. So I feel like that's very important.
Yeah, I definitely think you have to be continuously improving, especially with TikTok Shop. It's always changing, right?
Yeah.
So like if I were to be doing the exact same thing I think, what I did actually, so I'll tell you, so it was actually back to back, like almost 50K months. And so I did it until it stopped working. There was a time that I had gone down after making that money, that I was kind of struggling. I wasn't continuously getting better. I was just doing the same thing, expecting different results.
Of course.
Which, I feel like that's a thing some people struggle with too. After they've made a good amount of money, they're like, well, why isn't this working? I'm just recreating, the same thing over and over again.
Definition of insanity.
Exactly.
What would you say to someone like who maybe is in that position? Maybe they're doing TikTok Shop affiliate right now, and maybe they're just not hitting the numbers they feel like they deserve. Do you feel like it's kind of like a mindset thing? Like, hey, maybe your content isn't as good as you think? Or do you feel like it's like, just give it time? Maybe your video just need time to grow. Like, what would you say to someone who's struggling right now?
Definitely be teachable. If you have the mindset, like if you're going to play victim, like, the universe doesn't owe you anything, right? Yeah. If you're going to post 10 times a day and expect it, like, one of these videos is going to pop. Like, I deserve that money. I put so much effort into it. That's almost like working for the money. Like, you got to let the money work for you. Like, it's going to come to you. It's almost like manifesting it, right?
Of course.
You can't try too hard. I mean, I'm big into like faith too. Like faith, like, it's always going to work out. But yeah, I would focus more on inputs. Try to detach from the outputs. Yeah. Like, you're going to win if you don't stop. You know what I'm saying? Like, the only person that loses is if they give up.
Of course.
As long as you continually improve every single day, you're going to hit that end goal. Focus on your inputs. The outputs will come.
Absolutely. And I would say pretty much the same exact thing. Like if you are struggling right now, one of the most important things, obviously everybody preaches consistency. Just like we're talking about, if you're just posting the same content without being coachable or without changing anything, you can't expect a different result. So, you know, exactly like Hunter said, TikTok Shop is changing constantly. You know, now I feel like that's what I want to like lead into. Now I feel like we're really in this era of GMV Max, you know, like these Shark, Ninja, QVC products. What brands have the biggest spend? Those are the products you need to focus on. So how would you say things have shifted, especially as of recently? And like, what are you focusing on going forward?
Yeah, I definitely had to pivot. I mean, I actually pivoted more into like live social shopping because that's a huge thing that's coming up. Right?
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that.
No, we didn't. That's
killer
a whole,
with live streams.
That's a whole nother topic. But as far as videos goes, I mean, definitely the big pivot was, you know, how much I feel like organic traffic has slowed down. If you knew how to make a viral video, it didn't matter if the product was crap. It was going to reach a lot of people, right? You were going to hit that audience and it was going to get thousands of views. Now you can make a really good, supposedly virally structured video. If it doesn't have ad spend, it's not going to reach people. Yeah. And which that makes sense because that's how TikTok makes their money, right? Yeah. Based off of companies putting ad budget in. But definitely you have to pivot. I feel like product selection is
more
now
important than ever.
Exactly. It's more important than ever versus used to it would matter how good your video is.
Your content is. Yeah.
Right. So I feel like it's definitely switched to more of a strategical product selection than it is, you know, having that good framework. Even though framework is still good.
Of course.
Right. But like we have like bottom of funnel, like just it's crazy.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I feel like it used to be very like how good your video is, just very content focused, and now it's product selection. And I also feel like who can get in the earliest. Like if you're able to be literally like the first creator on a product,
that is huge,
dude. It's wraps. Like you could have like, exactly you said, a bottom of funnel video or just like a terrible top of funnel video, but if you're the first on that product, dude, you're gonna cook.
It's insane. And I feel like, you know, going back to the product that kind of made me like a lot of money, I was the first one to ever like make a viral video on that product, right?
That makes sense why it blew up.
And as soon as I got it, I was just recreating over and over and over again. And I would like change the hook, same body and call to action.
Yeah.
You know, and it was just, it was just like a printing money machine.
Yeah. And I feel like that's what nobody talks about. And it's kind of hard because a lot of people tell you like, hey, you should obviously not reinvent the wheel and you should go for winning products, which I still believe, you know, but sometimes like it is like those sleeper products that you just blow up out of nowhere. Like I was pretty much the first person on those compression shirts, which like did multiple six figures in profit. But like the advice I have for people is like, if you are going to do a product that people are already doing, you have to come at it with a unique angle. That's so like one of the best things you can do. Like if we look at Roberto, like everybody's doing the Valentine's card right now, but everybody's just doing talking head. What does he go and do? He goes in the store with his meta glasses, completely unique angle. And now he's gotten 5 million views in 24 hours. It's crazy.
I want to say, so my number 2 selling product, I mean, it was split into kind of 2 products. Number 1 was the wireless CarPlay adapter. I want to say that was like a 60-40. Yeah. So like the other 40% of my income was from like a little GPS tracker. And so that was a really good product, right? It was like less than $15, free shipping, really easy to sell. And I had this really crazy hook that I had used and no one else had used it before. And it was like enough to cause controversy. It was enough to stop, you know, the viewer. And then the way I funneled the product into it was really nice. And it was like just an impulse buy because it's under $15. And like little things I did in the video that would cause controversy. I feel like, you know, if you can get someone to comment, that's really good.
Oh yeah.
Like I would stick it on the brake rotor. As soon as you drive off, it's going to fall off because it's on the brake rotor. And so every time like the comments are just filled. Why do you put it on the brake rotor? Why do you put it on the
exactly.
It was funny. Funneling back into basically either you're the first on the product or you're the first to that style. Right. The style of content.
Yeah. Because you got to figure out a way to separate yourself.
Think about like the meta glasses. When those first came out, it was like every video posted with the meta glasses angle was ripping, regardless of like how good the video was. It's because it was a new angle that no one had seen before.
Completely new style.
Exactly.
You know, so I feel like that's definitely one of the most important things. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about live streaming because I feel like we don't give that enough love on the channel. I feel like a lot of people ask about live streaming. So obviously you've killed it with video content. You've killed it with live streams. I mean, well, what do you feel like is the main separator?
I mean, the main separator, I feel like videos are constantly making money, even when you sleep. Think about it as like a digital piece of real estate. Right? Yeah. It's always out there and it can always make you money. Obviously, videos go up and down, but live streaming is more of a like, it's a very strategic approach. And if you set it up correctly, you can show up and you know, it's just kind of like a show up and show out kind of thing. Like every time you show up, you're guaranteed income, you know, versus those people that are in the trenches right now, you know, they're spending a couple hours a day making videos when they could just hop on a live stream for a couple hours and they're guaranteed some type of income. If you have the right approach and you approach it with strategy, it's definitely, I mean, absolute killer. I mean, think about it in China. I can't remember what they were doing, but it's like $100 million GMV live stream.
Yeah.
It was like insane.
I know they've had even $1 billion days like on their biggest days.
It's crazy.
Which is like ridiculous, you know? So one question I do have for you, because I don't even know the answer to this, because a lot of people say there's a warm-up period when it comes to lives. So like, hey, you have to go live for 2-3 weeks, 3 hours a day. Now, do you think that that is true? And if not, do you feel like it's a placebo of like the creator needs to get better? They need to understand energy. They need to get a good script, and maybe they don't need that 3-week warm up period.
So no, most definitely there is a warm up period. So TikTok views your account and their partnership with you as a creator, as a business, right? So you need to show up. You need to show them that you can be consistent. It matters how good you can sell, but we're talking about how many people you reach in a live stream. What matters is how many concurrent viewers you're having, how many live impressions you're getting throughout the whole live stream. Yeah. So the more consistent you are, the more time you put in, the more TikTok is going to reward you with viewers. And you turn those viewers into sales based off of your product selection, based off of your script, things like that. And so I want to say definitely there's a warm up period. I remember like starting out live streaming back when I did like video sales, I was making those like $300 months or like $1,000 months. I was testing live streaming back then too. And it's more of like a show up and make your income, but there's definitely a warm up period. Yeah. And the less consistent you are, the worse it's going to affect you.
Gotcha. So I'm glad that you clear that up, because I feel like it's actually the same thing for video content. Like, especially if you get a brand new account, sometimes you can have a video that takes off immediately. I feel like a lot of times you have to like warm up the account. Sometimes, especially when you get a new account, your videos will be at like literally single digit views, like 7 views, 8 views for like days. And then you just post one like a week later, just pops off.
I will say with live streaming too, consistency and like, that's not always the biggest thing. And like as a warm-up period, there's not always a warm-up period. It depends. Like if you're hopping on a really trendy product and no one's live streaming it. So think about this. So the Onyx Studio 8, you remember that blew up when it first came out, right? No one was live streaming it. Well, I know a guy, he's like, he barely does lives at all. He went to his Walmart and he bought it. Instantly, the first time he hopped on for 4 hours. I think he made $500. It's over $100 an hour. Yeah. And like, he kept on live streaming it, and then everyone started seeing, obviously like with the daily virals and the calorie data, everyone hopped on it so quick. But it's like, product selection is good too. Like it's super important. If you get on the right time, you can skip the warm up period.
And that's actually what I wanted to ask you about, especially when it comes to live streams. Because I know like the biggest thing for me, I feel like every affiliate has tried live streams. Like myself, I've done it. Every video creator has. What advice would you give to someone like who's trying to break through with live streaming? Because I know it can be one of the most draining, taxing feelings. So like what would you tell them?
Yeah, dude, live stream is not for the weak.
Not at all, bro.
No, it's definitely mentally draining more than anything.
You're live on like hour 3 with like 7 viewers. Like, fuck me.
It's bad. It's bad. So I would approach it like, so here's a big thing. So you need to look at your average watch time. If someone's coming in and they're staying for 5 seconds, how many times are you implementing a call to action, right? Like, hey, just a friendly reminder, the sale ends, once the flash sale ends, the price still goes back up. How often are you implementing that call to action? If you have a 2-minute script and then you include the call to action at the end, how many people are actually hearing your call to action? What's the purpose of live streaming? It's so people see a product on their phone, right? They know all about it, right? As soon as they hop on a live stream, you have a live sale. Yeah. So it's like a bottom of the funnel type of deal. So
very impulsive, right?
Right. It's like, hey, just a friendly reminder, the sale ends in 2 minutes if you want to grab it at a live exclusive discount. So if you're struggling with live streaming, definitely make sure you have a good product. And then I would show up and be consistent. Show TikTok that, you're serious about it. You're going to stay consistent. Your script is very important. Implementing that call to action every 10 to 15 seconds.
When it comes to talking points, do you mention a lot of the features? Do you sell the dream, or do you literally just sell the sale because you assume they already know it?
Okay, so it completely depends on the product. There's a lot of factors that go into it, whether you're streaming or whether you're live streaming a high ticket product or a low ticket product. I want to say if it's less than $15, it's straight up like selling the sale 24/7, right? Makes sense. It's more than $30, somebody's going to think twice about it. So you like, hey, welcome in. You do a couple product features, and then you tell them why they need to buy right now. It's on a live exclusive discount, right? And then you go back into selling the product features, and then you kind of just repeat the script. But if I was selling, like, dude, I was selling an e-bike for a long time. You try to, so obviously engagement boost your live stream. If you can get somebody in your live stream to comment, like comment the year, make, and model of the vehicle you drive, right?
Really?
To see if it's compatible. So, bro, people will spam like the year, make, and model. And so what you do is like, hey, Jesse, you're good to go. Make sure to check out within the next 2 minutes. Yeah. Your vehicle's compatible. So it's kind of like they're already invested.
Yeah. And they're also waiting for you to respond.
Exactly. So you get a longer watch time.
That's such a killer tip. Like, you guys got to clip that. You guys got to like keep that in mind. It's a great tip.
Higher ticket, I would definitely go more into explaining the product. And people are going to ask questions too.
Of course.
But you need to have, not a really long script, and you need to make sure to implement call to actions for sure.
Yeah. So I do want to ask as well, man, because a lot of people wonder, when 2026 January, it's the beginning of the new year, they wonder, is it still worth it to get into TikTok Shop? Is it too saturated? Now that Oracle bought it, is it going to get banned? Is it going to change? Like, what are your thoughts on the future of TikTok Shop?
No, there's no better time to start other than right now.
Fully
agree. Like there's literally almost zero barrier to entry. Like, you can buy an account, you can grow an account. The barrier to entry is really, really low. There's almost no risk.
Exactly.
And it's all upside.
It's like, what do you have to lose?
Exactly. obviously, being afraid to put yourself out on the internet, that's one thing. Literally, like there's people that I know that have full-time jobs and they'll come home and they'll make videos. But as far as TikTok Shop is going, I don't think it's going anywhere, honestly. Like in the future, I'm seeing it. I want to say the shop feature. I think TikTok Shop is going to eventually move. Like Instagram's going to have their own shop. Facebook's going to have their own shop, maybe. I mean, I have no idea necessarily exactly where it's going.
They have YouTube shopping already coming out.
Do they really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like TikTok was so smart to put there's friction between the buyer and the seller. When you see an ad and you have to leave the app to buy.
Yeah.
TikTok completely eliminated that, which is why TikTok is bigger than eBay.
Like it actually, that is a stat that came out like last week, and it's true. And I fully agree, Hunter. Like, dude, the fact that it's native, all you do is just double tap your phone to buy, like, because Apple Cash has all your cards saved.
It's insane.
Like, and that had never been done before. Like you said, you click an ad, you have to go to a separate website, type in your card info. At that point, like 60% of people are leaving. But with TikTok, it's just so addicting, you know?
Yeah, right. There's almost no friction.
Exactly.
Right. If you want to buy something, it's literally 2 seconds away.
Yeah. So if you're thinking that it's too saturated, it's not at all. It is still so early. It's going to continue to get bigger. I mean, what would you want to leave the viewers with who are watching this right now?
I know we talked about that a lot. We talk about that a lot. I know Roberto hits on that too.
It's good though.
Yeah, I want to talk about limiting beliefs. Like, a lot of these people, something that I realize, and a lot of older people too, they're like, oh, don't believe everything you see on the internet, right? But they're the same people falling for all the AI stuff, which is kind of funny. But like, this is real. Like, really, people are making full-time incomes from their phone, and they're just as normal as you. Start creating content and not consuming content. Put it out that way, right?
I love that, dude.
So definitely, consume less and create more, and just don't have the limiting belief. Don't play victim either. Like limiting belief and then playing victim. Like the universe doesn't owe you anything, right? You have to go out there and get it. It's not easy.
I love the way that you put that, bro, because I don't think people truly understand just how good of an opportunity we have. Because back then, man, if you wanted to make it big, you had to go through Hollywood. You had to go to auditions and do commercials.
Bro, imagine talking to like a man that's in old money, and you're explaining the new money to him. Like, yeah, you made what'd you make, $160K?
Yeah.
It's like, I made $160,000 in profit, in 30 days posting videos on my phone.
Didn't have to ship anything. Not my brand, not my business.
Yeah, I'd be like, well, what about fulfillment? No, you don't have to mess with anything.
Yeah.
Literally, the barrier to entry to TikTok is zero.
Yeah.
You need to start creating, don't consume as much. Almost no risk, and it's just infinite reward.
I love that, man. I think it's so important. I think one last thing to leave this on is a lot of people are worried, like, oh, like what are my friends gonna think, my family gonna think? So if you have any advice for that, I'll touch on that too.
Hate comes from below. It really does. So people that hate on you usually either they're insecure or you have something that they don't. And so hate comes from below for sure. But as far as like you and mentally, you have to be really mentally tough. The less you care, the happier you'll be. If you think about how big the world is and like how many people live on this earth, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter at all.
It doesn't.
I think that's like literally the best way to put it, man. Like at the end of the day, one thing I think about is like, dude, am I really going to be caring about these people's opinions when I'm lying on my deathbed? And it's not at all.
Figure out your why too. Figure out your why, Yeah. Like, I want to be present for my kids, especially with this world where it's going and stuff. Like, being present with your family and your kids, that's like the end goal, right? Yeah. And not having to imagine a life surrounded by, like coming out here for LA for a week. Just like, hey, can I call in? I'd have to schedule this months in advance.
Might not even be able to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Or like, asking somebody, hey, can I go take lunch real quick? It's insane. But yeah, if you have that feeling that you're capable of more, definitely go out and achieve it. Like, especially if like TikTok Shop, zero barrier to entry, total upside.
I love that, man. Well, it was great having you on the podcast, Hunter. Thank you so much, brother. I feel like there was a ton of value in here, man. And to everyone watching, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.